Hello everyone. Today we are going to continue a topic which was on the treatment of wastewater. I gave you the introductory part of the treatment of wastewater. Today we'll be discussing the steps that are involved in its treatment. The first one being the preliminary treatment, or we can say the main purpose of the treatment of wastewater treatment is to make the wastewater that is being collected from any residential building, any commercial building, any industrial building. We have to make that wastewater that is obviously very toxic in nature. We have to make it clear from toxic to pure. So this is the main motto of the wastewater treatment process. So what are the steps involved in it that we will go through in the next slide? The first step in the process of wastewater treatment is the collection of waste that we have to go through. So the waste is being collected through the pipes, underground pipes that are laid underground, and they can be of different types. Like we have water carriage systems, wastewater carriage systems, wherein we have separate system, we have the combined system, or we have partially combined or separate system. In the combined system, we have one pipe wherein the storm water as well as the sewage water is, or we can say the wastewater is being carried out. Okay, in the separate system, we have separate pipes wherein the storm water and the wastewater are being separately moved out, okay, or we can say transported. Then we have partially combined and partially combined and separate system wherein we have both the things going on, okay. Uh, so this is what it is in the collection of weeds. So all the as I told you in the previous lecture, also the wastewater from the buildings can be from anywhere. Okay, so the wastewater from whichever place it's coming, it has to travel a lot of distance to move on to the wastewater treatment plant. So yes, we have the underground pipes, we have the lifting pumps, pumping stations, and we have the treatment plants. So the collection of waste is one of the important steps that we have in the treatment of water, or you can say the wastewater. The second step that is involved in it is primary preliminary treatment. The preliminary treatment is where it is a physical process again. It's the most important process wherein we remove the most coarse solids, or we can say the solids like rugs. We have plastic waste. We have rugs. We have hair. We have a lot of things which are bigger in size, so they need to be taken out, removed from the wastewater that is to be treated. So the bar screens, or we can say huge screens, are provided over there, wherein the grit is removed, wherein the huge large particles are removed from the wastewater. So as you can see in this picture also, we have the preliminary treatment going on, wherein this raw sewage is coming over here, and we have bar screens placed just before this grit chamber. So the coarse particles or the large size particles are removed with the help of this bar screen. So why are these moved in this preliminary treatment? Why is this important? Is that they may hinder the efficiency of the um, various chambers, fluid chambers, or various um, components of the wastewater treatment plant. They may choke them, they may somewhere hinder the flow of wastewater. So that is why it is important to remove them before any other treatment. So yes, after the water passes through the bar screens, it reaches the grit chamber. Grit chamber in this, it's a huge chamber that is present in the preliminary treatment process, wherein the grit is being settled down in this grit chamber, and then it's removed for the disposal of this grit into the landfills. They may be disposed of. So yes, this is what happens in the grid chamber, and then this from this grid chamber, the effluent is moved on to the secondary treatment, primary treatment plant. So yes, this is what happens in preliminary treatment. Moving on, the next process that we go through, the next step that we go through is the primary treatment. So what is this primary treatment all about? This is again a physical process. The only difference is that in primary treatment, the particles that are fine in nature, relatively finer than the particles that are being removed in the preliminary treatment. So yes, they are removed in primary treatment. Uh, what is in primary treatment is we have the primary sedimentation tanks or settling tanks, wherein these fine particles, which are relatively fine than those coarse particles that were already removed in the preliminary treatment, they are being settled down in this primary sedimentation tank, and then this sludge that we get out of this wastewater is sent to the sludge treatment area, wherein it is further treated and that can be used in some other purposes also. So yes, this is what happens in the primary treatment. So here in this picture we have this primary sedimentation tank, and as you can see, the water flows into the tank, wherein the sludge is deposited at the bottom of the sedimentation tank. Here we have sludge, which is sent to the di- digester, or we can say digestion of sludge is the process that we go through, wherein the sludge is being processed. Okay, so yes, this is what happens over here. This is the influent. Okay, the wastewater from the preliminary treatment plant is sent to the primary treatment. So this is how it goes. There is a downward movement, sorry, upward movement. Okay, and with the help of pump, it is being sent to the sedimentation tank. Okay, here as you can see, here's a rotating shaft wherein it is being sprinkled, or we can say sprayed into the sedimentation tank. So this is what happens in primary treatment. Moving on, the next being the secondary treatment. What is the secondary treatment all about? When the water is being treated over there with the help of primary treatment, wherein the relatively fine particles were removed, then we have some suspended particles that should be removed. Okay, so the water is sent to the secondary treatment plant. So the secondary treatment plant has two main chambers, wherein you have aerated tanks. Okay, aeration tanks and the settling tanks. The settling tank over here is the secondary sedimentation tank. We can call it that also. What happens over here, the influent from the primary sedimentation tank moves on to the aeration tank, wherein we have ample amount of microorganisms. So what we do is we we inject these microorganisms, or we can say we provide these microorganisms intentionally. We add the microorganisms intentionally into the chamber, or we can say into the aeration tank. So it is a biological treatment. So in this treatment, what happens is the organic components are eliminated from wastewater. With the help of these microorganisms, the organic matter, whatsoever organic matter is present in wastewater, is removed. It gets decomposed of. Okay, here it is the aerobic process. Why is it an aerobic process? Why it is called an aeration tank? Because with the help of compressed air, the compressed air is continuously sent to this aeration tank. With the help of this compressed air, the microorganisms in water get mixed properly. The compressed air is used to avoid, to Okay, so what happens is we add microorganisms, and this aeration that I was talking about, the compressed air, it helps in the mixing of microorganisms in the water, and these microorganisms in the presence of oxygen, they feed upon the organic matter, and hence it gets decomposed of. So this water after this process moves on to the sedimentation tank, wherein the suspended particles settle down. Now, the matter that is being settled down is known as activated sludge. So this activated sludge is sent to the again sent to the sludge treatment plant, wherein it is treated, it is being worked upon, and then it's used for a particular purpose. It may be used for manure, it may be used for any irrigation purpose. So yes, now if what happens in this activated sludge process is, if you find any microorganisms, sorry, organic matter present in this sludge, if if these organic matter is still present in sludge, in that process what we do is the sludge is being again taken to this aeration tank, where again the same process takes place. The microorganisms feed upon this organic matter, and then this sludge is again sent to this sedimentation tank, where it settles down and it gets removed again. So this is the activated sludge process, wherein we continuously work on the sludge to make it more uh, suitable, feasible. Okay, it is being processed again and again so that it becomes suitable for the required purpose. This is known as the activated sludge process. So this is what happens in the secondary treatment plant. Okay, moving on, then we have certain processes that are involved in in this secondary treatment of wastewater. Talking about activated sludge process, which I was discussing in the past slide, it is same what I was telling you, that it has aeration tank, it has sedimentation, secondary sedimentation tank, and then it is being again sent to the aeration tank, and it again same process takes place. This is something which happens in activated sludge process. So yeah, this is, I think this is it, wherein what happens is water is from the primary chamber is sent to the, so this is the primary sedimentation tank, primary clarifier, from where the water is being dispatched to the secondary treatment area, wherein it first comes across the aeration tank, wherein we supply the compressed air, and with the help of this compressed air, again, it's being mixed. The microorganisms are added intentionally so that the organic matter gets decomposed off in water, and then it is sent to the secondary clarifier, wherein this sludge gets settled down, and this activated sludge is sent to the, either sent to the sludge digester, or what happens is it is again sent to the aeration tank. It happens when you find the organic matter present in the sludge. If it is still present in there, then we again send it to the aeration tank. Again, the same process takes place. And if it becomes there is a complete removal of organic matter from the sludge, and it's sent to the sludge digester, wherein it can be again treated and used for the said purpose. So this is one of the process that is involved in secondary treatment. Then we have the next thing, that we have the trickling filters. So in place of aeration tanks, we might have the trickling filters with which we can go for the secondary treatment of the wastewater, wherein what we do is the effluent that comes from the primary clarifier, okay, reaches the uh, trickling filters, wherein the effluent flows into the media, okay, um, and the rate of flow is slow. Why is it slow? So as to allow the microbial growth on this media, because when the water flows into the trickling filter, the microorganisms, or we can say the organic matter gets decomposed, not decomposed, it forms a film over the filter media. Due to the formation of this film over the filter media, the spacing of the media that is over there between the grains of or the sand, or we can say between the grains of the particles, um, between the voids, what happens is the air can flow through these voids. Okay, so with the help of this air, the microorganisms get the oxygen with which they feed upon the, again, the organic matter, and thus they can decompose off. So it forms a complete biofilm, a layer of the microbial growth. Okay. So once the microbial growth is done, it has taken place. What happens is whatsoever additional wastewater flows into the tank, flows into the aeration, sorry, not aeration tank, flows into the trickling filters. The organic matter, whatsoever is present in the rest of the wastewater gets decomposed off. Okay, with the help of the microbial growth which is present over there, already present over there. So this is how it is. Whatever organic matter is left in the primary treatment of the wastewater is being broken in the secondary treatment with the help of these trickling filters. So in case of aeration tanks, we have trickling filters in the in this. Okay. So the next thing that we have in this is oxidation ponds, which is again a very important aspect of secondary treatment, which is what we again use, we can use in the secondary treatment of the wastewater. So what happens in oxidation ponds? What are these oxidation ponds? These are again in the form of ponds. Okay, the depressions. We can say these are large and shallow. Okay, and the depth of these ponds is around 1 to 2.5 meter. Okay, now what happens in this is, I'll show you one picture of the oxidation ponds, which is this. As you can see in this picture, we have an oxidation pond wherein the algae plays its role. Okay, as I told you in the beginning, the secondary treatment is a biological treatment wherein we add microorganisms. And this microorganism can be fungi, it can be algae, okay, any other bacteria which can help in the decomposition of organic matter. Here we have used the algae. What happens is this algae plays the key feature in this process, wherein what it does is, with the help of sunlight, it concludes, or the process of photosynthesis takes place. And with the help of photosynthesis, what is the byproduct is the oxygen. So the algae helps in the production of oxygen with the help of photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight. So oxygen is there. So when there is the presence of oxygen, in the presence of oxygen, the organic matter gets decomposed off, and this is how we can treat the water with the help of this oxidation forms. So these are the water stabilization forms. Okay. If there is the absence of sunlight, then with the help of wind, this can be done. Okay. So this is the process of oxidation in the oxidation forms. The next one being the aerated lagoons. What are these aerated lagoons? These are herein the again the sewage is aerated. Okay, how it is done? It is done mechanically. Okay, in the oxidation ponds, what we did was we made the use of algae, and in the presence of sunlight, it produced the oxygen with the help of photosynthesis, and that was the process. That was the natural process. But in case of aerated lagoons, we make the use of mechanical aerators. Okay, so the mechanical aerators are used to provide the oxygen for the microorganisms to carry out the decomposition of organic matter, or to stabilize the organic matter that may be present in seaweed. Okay, so in this process, what we can say is these aerated lagoons work in between the oxidation cones and activated sludge process. In oxidation cones, what we did was we have we have cones. Okay, we made the use of algae, but the only difference is here we didn't make the use of algae. We just went with the mechanical aerators, which is in the aeration tanks, wherein the activated sludge process, wherein we make the use of compressed air. So it's a combination of two processes. Okay. After this, what we have is, now these aerated lagoons are of two types. Okay, we have two types of aerated lagoons. One is facultative aerated lagoon and one is aerobic aerated lagoons. In facultative aerated lagoons, we have all the layers in this aerated lagoon are not oxidized, or we can say are not aerated. Like the lower layer will be innoxious, or we can say it may be anaerobic, and the upper layers may be aerobic. So this is what it is in the facultative aerobic. The lower part will be anoxic or anaerobic, and the upper part will be aerobic. So that is why it is known as facultative aerobic lagoon. And these are those lagoons in which some solids get removed with the effluent and some settle down in lagoon. Okay. So why this happens is because the aeration power uh, is the aeration power input is enough for oxygenation, okay, and it is not enough for keeping all solids in suspension. Like the rate of aeration is slow. When it is like slow in facultative aerated lagoons, then in that case what happens is all the solids cannot settle down. Okay, so in this case some of the solids they get removed with the effluent, and some of them get settled down. Okay, this is the reason for that. In case of aerobic aerated lagoons, here all the solids remain in suspension. Why is this so? Because the rate of aeration is very high. Okay, the speed is very high, or we can say the rate of aeration is very high. So they are this is fully aerobic. Okay, all the layers have oxygen, all the layers are aerobic in nature. We can't say the lower layers anoxic or anaerobic. Okay, so all these particles are in suspension in this case. No settlement takes place. So in this case, what happens is we cannot go for it because there is no suspension. We need a continuous supply. There is no settlement of solid. So there is a sort of equilibrium because the number of solids entering the aerated lagoons is equal to the number of solids exiting the lagoon with the effluents. So it is a sort of equilibrium, and this can be done when there is the continuous supply of power. And and this is like that process in which we have continuous process going on. Okay, where there is the sludge activated sludge process, okay, and plus there is the continuous removal of solids as well. So this is something that happens in aerobic aerated lagoons. Okay, moving on. uh, the next thing that we have in this is the picture. Here is we have the aerated lagoons wherein we have these mechanical aerators, or we can say that compressed air comes from these mechanical aerators, and with the help of them what happens is the oxygen, there is a continuous supply of oxygen into the water, there is a continuous mixing of water with the microorganisms, and this is the inlet of the aerated lagoons. Okay, and this is the continuous supply through these aerators, and this is the outlet. Here there is a deposition of sludge. Okay, and then this sludge is being removed from these aerated lagoons. So this is what happens in aerated lagoons. Then we have rotating biological contractor. So what is this all about is this process involves the continuous contact of wastewater with the biological medium. Why does we do this? We do this to remove the pollutants from wastewater. Okay, before this wastewater is being discharged to some environment, be it the source of or being it the return of water to the cycle, or to any source of water, or to any usage, be it drinking, be it irrigation, we have to do this before that. So what do we do is we allow the wastewater to come in contact with the biological medium. Okay, so this is again a biological process. What is the biological medium? These are the microorganisms. Okay, this is the bacteria that it has to come in contact with. So what is in this is it has I can show you the major so this is what we have in rotating biological contractor. I can show you the uh, components. So herein we have a shaft over which we have individual discs. Here, as you can see, this is an individual disc, and these are the number of discs that are being combined together. So these are the components of contractor, or we can say the running biological contractor, wherein there is a biological film over these discs. Okay. So whenever they rotate in a water over the surface of water, they rotate over the surface of the wastewater, and the microorgan or the and the microorganisms, or we can say the biological film is covered over the surface of these discs. Okay, so the contractor keeps on rotating in the circular motions, and what happens is the organic matter, whatsoever organic matter is present in wastewater, gets in contact with or gets in contact with this biofilm, or we can say the microorganisms, and they get decomposed off, and hence the water gets cleaned up. This is what happens in the rotating biological contractor, and it's a continuous process until and unless all the microorganisms, organic matter gets decomposed off from water, and hence we get the clean wastewater from this process. This is what happens in rotating biological contractor. I hope everything was clear in this lecture. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comment section. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to tell me. I will be discussing the tertiary treatment of, which is the final treatment of wastewater in the next lecture. So thank you so much. Have a good one.